I'm back with another book review, and Piggy is too. So this is called Garden of Thorns by Keary Taylor. If you've seen my other videos, you've probably noticed I have done other Keary Taylor books, specifically the Neon Rising saga. I just finished up that one. And also, if you've seen those, you probably know that Keary Taylor is the reason I know that you could self-publish. So anyway, Garden of Thorns is one of 3 books based off of the Descendants universe, which comes from House of Royals. I read that when it first came out. I was reading them right as they were coming out, so I do not remember a lot of what happened. I remember the gist of it. Olivia is the main character in that one, and turns out she is the daughter of a vampire. You can only turn into one of these vampires by having a vampire dad and a human mom, and you have to die, and then you resurrect as this vampire. That being said, you can have bitten vampires, but that became outlawed later for reasons that happened in the first book. So that being said, this is going to contain spoilers for House of Royals. So if you're wanting to read that series, it's good, and it inspired one of my books, The Blood Room. Go check that out before listening to any of these, because I do have a lot to say about the universe and spoilers. So this is Garden of Thorns by Keary Taylor. It takes off with Ian's little sister, Elle. She is great with plants and poisons and all that. She has a tragic backstory when it comes to family stuff, as does Ian. Anyway, this takes off a few years after the last book in the House of Royals series. Elle is living in Boston, and she has her own little plant shop. I want to call it an apothecary. Yeah, it is an apothecary. Look at me knowing words. I'll put the description in the description just because I feel like it's a lot easier to do that for everybody. Basically, what's going on is she has a friend named Kai who is a bitten vampire, meaning he was turned into a vampire because the vampire that bit him drained him of too much blood and the toxins took over his body and he became a vampire. Elle is not a vampire. She is human. She was born from human parents. Ian, her older brother, is a born vampire where their mom had an affair with a vampire. So yeah, anyway, I'm moving on. Elle and Kai take in bitten vampires and cure them. If you recall, I said a few minutes ago, or a minute ago, that is outlawed. There is a king of vampires, his name is King Cyrus. There's a whole thing with him, I'll get into it later. He has outlawed bitten creation. If you are caught or you are found making a bitten, it's sudden death. If you are a bitten, you will die immediately. So what she's doing is she is curing them, which is a no-no. Mainly because King Cyrus, overall, he wants secrecy. There are not that many vampires in the world. There are maybe, I think it was 300 in his court, which are the people that live in his castle with him in Austria. There are not that many. There are billions of humans. If they were to come out, humans would rip them apart, literally. So there's someone starting to create a bunch of bitten, and King Cyrus sends one of his people to check it out and take out the bitten that are found, take out the people that are creating these bitten. And they heard through the radio static that someone was curing bitten, and they thought it would be Elle because of her knowledge with plants and her whatever, and there have been rumors about a cure. I don't remember if there was a cure in the first original House of Royals series. I can't remember, but anyway, long story short, there's a cure and it's a no-no. She almost gets caught, etc. There is a vampire that was taken in the original series. His name is Lexington. I don't remember a lot about it, but if I remember correctly, 2 Callaway, because I think this is what it was talking, 2 of Olivia's people in her house. Oh gosh, and it explained the house system. There are royal born vampires that were born from one of the 2 grandsons of Cyrus, King Cyrus, that he ended up trusting because there was a whole war, etc. Whatever, Malachi and can't remember. One of the 2 grandsons, she was born from Henry Callaway, which was a direct descendant, so she is a royal. Olivia is. Anyway, those royals are put in charge of houses all throughout the world. There are 3 in the United States. One of them is in Louisiana. One of them's in the south. The other one is up kind of where Elle is. Elle is far away from home, which is southern-ishness. I miss all the southern stuff. Everything happens in the cities. I want things to happen down here. Anyway, that's what the house is. I feel like I'm getting off track, but this is stuff that you need to know for the stuff. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, that's right. Lexington and one other person was swapped from that house to Olivia's house, so they were swapped. And that house was Charles Allaway. Is it not Calloway for Olivia? I don't remember. Conrath. I keep saying Calloway. I mean Conrath. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to put little things that I mean Conrath. Allaway is up here. Conrath is Olivia's. That is where Elle's family is. And that is where Ian and Olivia are. Okay, Elle is up in Boston, where the Allaway house is, Charles Allaway. Olivia's people killed Charles's sister in a game that Cyrus had them play in the first House of Royals. Wow, there's a lot of backstory to this. And so he believes a sister for a sister, so he's going after Elle. Moving on, Lexington, there's a lot of threads. Lexington, he's a born vampire. He is sent to watch Elle because of this Allaway stuff, and he and Elle hit it off immediately. Romance happens, and then there's a cliffhanger ending, which I think is really well done. That being said, I just finished praising Keary Taylor about the Neron series for the depth and amazingness of the romantic relationship between Valen and Nova in the Neron series. This one is like the exact opposite for me. It is insta-love almost, kind of, sorta, and they get to know each other really fast. That being said, this one was made before Neron Kingdom, so I know that this is right after House of Royals, so I know she gets better with each book. That's all I gotta say. I wished that there was a re-description of all the characters and kind of who they were, because I haven't read the first part of the series in a long time. But I do have a strong belief that in every book, because books are normally months or years apart from each other, it is super important to re-describe what these characters look like and re-describe what their history is with the main character. I wish that Garden of Thorns had that in it, because there were a lot of names that I was like, I think I remember who that is, or I don't remember who this person is. And there's one person I was like, yeah, I know that person because I remembered them. But other than that, I was like, I don't remember. Being said, all in all, it was a lot of fun to read. I did enjoy it. I really missed this world. I really missed these vampires. And Keary Taylor always does an amazing job at her storytelling. This is Garden of Snakes, book 2 of Garden of Thorns. It is a continuation of the House of Royals series. So if you haven't read that, go check that out. This will be filled with spoilers. Here's the description. So, start off with Elle has been kidnapped by Charles Allaway and pregnant. She's pregnant. Charles is not someone who likes girls, and therefore he will not be making any babies. So he had her artificially inseminated. Whoa! There's the word. She's stuck down there for quite a few months with Michael, who is a Bitten that created like an army of Bitten, and then whenever she kind of faced off against him in the last book, he was like, I like the cut of your jib, and then joined, which I thought was interesting and strange, but kind of cool, I guess. They've been down there for quite a few months. She has a baby bump, etc. They do end up getting away, which I do think it was a little too easy to get away, but semantics. So they get back, there's more romance, everyone's kind of feeling sorry for her. This one isn't as action-packed as the last one. We watch as they get closer. We watch her as she grows, as the baby grows inside of her, and as we get closer to her due date. And there is a lady that she would give specifically ordered concoctions of potions. Not really, but that's the only word I can think of right now. Turns out she has abilities and she can cast curses. So she put a curse on Charles Allaway, the born vampire that is after Elle, so that as long as the child is within Elle, he cannot even get near her. Like, it is, he is in so much pain whenever he reaches her. I do wish that, I don't know, I feel like Charles should have flexed his power just a little bit. I know that he doesn't have a lot of vampires in his house anymore. He has like 3, and then they're able to take them out. One of my biggest complaints actually about this book is we didn't really get to see any of the action because Elle is pregnant and she is stuck to the sidelines. I really wish we would have, at least in other point of views. This series would have done really well with multiple points of views, I believe. Especially if it's just Elle and Lexington, that'd be really cool because we get to see both sides of the romance and we would see both sides of the insanity happening behind the scenes. I am someone who loves being right up in it and seeing all the drama, not drama, but all the excitement. I want to see the fights. I want to see the conversations. I want to be there for it, and I feel like I missed out a lot on this book. I did like the ending, and I did wonder whenever that was going to come into play of reasons for other books, and because the specific thing that happened is something that I don't know, I knew would be coming because of the way this character is. Overall, I did enjoy it. I read it super fast. I did enjoy the real conversations between Lexington and Elle. Elle has gone through so much, and I enjoyed the grieving process for her. The way she'd talk about it, the hesitancies, or even just her shutting down, because some people do. Some people just shut down. I'm someone who does kind of shut down, or I lash out. There's one or the other, there's no between. And it was really cool to see her have her Bella moment where she's like, where Edward leaves Bella and Bella's like, there's a possibility. And that whole like montage is kind of what it felt like, but it wasn't as long of a montage. And she wasn't away from anybody. She had everyone there to help her. So it was just kind of like the Bella montage. It was nice seeing that grief, reading about that grief, and then having that grief come out in conversations. And finally she snaps out of it whenever her man's in danger, because he takes the fall for her curing the Bitten. I'll get on more on that for the next book, but it is good. I really, really enjoyed that. I still didn't like how fast they fell for each other in the first book, but the second book, if you ignore that, if you forget that they fell so hard, so fast, then it's really a nice arc of their relationship. I think that's all I got for this book. This is book 3 to the Garden of Graves. It is a continuation of the House of Allaway series. There will be a ton of spoilers for both parts because this is the last book in this little mini series at the end of this other main series. So if you haven't read them or checked them out, go check them out, or else you'll be getting a lot of spoilers, or go check out my other videos about this series. Anyway, let's begin. Here's the description. All right, so King Cyrus is here. I have not explained King Cyrus yet. He has a lot of tragic stuff, but he's also ruthless and insanely brutal, and I can't help but love him. Moving on, this isn't about him. We watched Elle with the rest of her pregnancy, all of that jazz. Lexington went away because he took the blame for her curing the Bitten. She kind of lets King Cyrus know the truth of everything, and he actually kind of takes it all in stride, and Lexington is free now. We do, just like the last book, we miss a lot of the action because Elle is pregnant and kind of taken out of the action. I would love to see Lexington's point of view, at least with these books. It would have been really nice to be able to see that action and see all that happen. We do have a development. It was kind of alluded to in the last one, but there is a guy. What is his name? I think his name was Jonathan. Let's just go with Jonathan. I don't know if that's right. I'm gonna call him Jonathan. So he was a Bitten that got cured by Elle, and he was never supposed to talk about it again. He was supposed to go on about his life and never even mention her, whatever, all of that. But he knows a little bit of the system with the vampires, and he knows, the world of vampires. He starts gathering people, and there starts to be an uprising of people that believe in these vampires and want to expose them and want to show them to the world. That's a whole thing that happens, but it's a little blip actually in the book. I wish that I would have seen more of that, and I wish there was way more of that. I wanted to see more. I think most of it was taken care of behind the scenes. Elle did stumble upon a gathering and get to see a little bit of it, but I wanted to see all of it, more romance, etc., and whatever. And we finally get to Charles. They tried to lure him out with the baby because in the last one, if you don't remember, he was cursed to not be able to be around Elle or the baby until the baby is born. So they were going to fake complications to lure him out and trap him in this hospital and take him out. He ended up taking out pretty much everyone that was already there and chasing her down, and he was playing with her. That's why she lasted so long. She actually ended up almost going into labor because of the stress happening around this fake complication story. Spoilers, he dies. And it's actually a really cool death, and I was like, a little earlier in the book, Lexington and Elle have their wedding. They don't get to completely celebrate because the complications and stuff that are going on, but it was really sweet. It was a really nice wedding, and I enjoyed it. I liked how they were able to go back after stuff went down, and they got to have a little them time. That was really nice. The ending was absolutely sweet, and this whole time I was like, okay, this has to happen sometime. I know it's gotta happen because this is a romance book, and That being said, I don't believe books have to have a happy ending for it to be a romance book. Romance books can still be romance books without happy endings, but this was a happy ending, and most of Keary Taylor's books are happy endings, happily ever after. I don't think I've yet to see one that isn't a happy ending, and I've read quite a few of her books. I loved it. I loved the ending. I loved the kids and the characters, and I love the world. I love the world building for this series. We actually do get one chapter from Lexington, and that's one reason I was like, man, I wish there was more from him, because then I would see more. And it was really nice seeing it from his point of view. I really did enjoy it, and I loved the ending. I think that's about all I got for you. If this book sounds interesting to you, the link in the description are in the description, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.